Hi, I'm going to give a little bit of instruction for the laid back blues in A track. Calling it A laid back blues. Basically, it's in a major or dominant seventh type of chord progression, using ninth chords. So the ninth chord is this chord like this. In case you don't know it, it's the 12th fret with the second finger of the 5th string, first finger on the 4th string, 11th fret, 12th fret with the 3rd finger on the 3rd string, and then we bar that 3rd finger down to pick up either the 3rd and 2nd string at the 12th fret or the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st string at the 12th fret, so we get this. So the only thing at the 11th fret is the 1st finger on the 4th string. Now that's you go by whatever letter name is on the 5th string, so that's an A9 at the 12th fret. When we go and move it to the 5th fret with the 2nd finger, so really I consider that the 4th position because the 1st finger is on the 4th fret. That's the lowest finger, fretted finger. So this position here, that's the D9. That'll be the 4 chord. So the A9 is the 1 chord, the D9 is the 4 chord, and up 2 frets to the 6th position really, but the 2nd finger is grabbing the E on the 7th fret. That's your E9. So the 1 chord is at the 12th fret, 2nd finger. The 2nd finger is on the 5th fret for the 4 chord, for the D chord, and for the E chord, it's on the 7th fret. So that's the 1, 4, 5 chords. A little bit about the leads, what we can use with this. You can use either a minor pentatonic, so from the 5th position. I'm using form 1. We can either use that or we can use the A major pentatonic, which is the same fingering, but we go down 3 frets, 1, 2, 3 positions. And we'll lead with our 4th finger. This would be form 5 actually of the A major pentatonic, because in other lessons I've showed that's the 5th octave shape, the G octave shape for the A's. So you can use that lower note, but we're kind of centering around the tone center of the A there. So it's either form 1 pentatonic, E octave shape, or form 5 major pentatonic. That was minor pentatonic with the E octave shape at the 5th fret, 5th position. 2nd position with the 4th finger, your G octave shape, that's form 5 of the A major pentatonic. And either one of those will work basically to any of these the chords in the progression. It's a few things we need to tweak on a few of the notes to make them really sound like they pull into the chords. The 5 chord kind of goes by fast. It's probably the most forgiving. But the 1 and the 4, you want to bring out a certain note. And what I'm going to show you here is the 3rd of the 1 chord is this 6th fret note on the 3rd string. I'm doing it with my 2nd finger. So if we're in the minor pentatonic doing licks like this, if we bring this note at the 5th fret of the 3rd string up a half step, we go from the minor 3rd to the major 3rd. The major 3rd sounds very good against the 1 chord. So that's the major 3rd of the 1 chord. Now, when we're on the 4 chord, that note at the 5th fret is the flat 7 of the 4 chord, which brings out a nice dominant 7th sound of the chord. So, if you're using the minor pentatonic on the 1 chord, it's nice to get this 6th fret note on the 3rd string in there on the 1 chord. On the 4 chord, you can just play minor pentatonic and use that 1st finger at the 5th fret. It sounds good because that's the flat 7. Now, if you're using major pentatonic, using that same note as our kind of focus here. So major pentatonic, we're doing things licks like this. So if we bring up this 4th fret note with the 3rd finger, if I'm using all 3 fingers to help bend, if we bend it up a whole step, so that to the sound of the 6th fret, we get that major 3rd sound. So for the 1 chord, if I'm on the 1 chord, I will usually be bending this note a whole step to bring out the sound of the major 3rd. If I'm on the 4 chord, and if I'm using the major pentatonic position here, I would only bend it a half step. So let's see how that works in the chord progression. 2, 3, 4. Here's the major 1 chord. Whole step bend. Here's the 4 chord. Here's the 1 chord again. Here's the 4 chord. That half step bend sounds better than, we don't want that note on the 4 chord. But when we get back to the 1 chord, that whole step works good again. Here's the 5 chord. I'd probably tend to use that the half step bend on the 5 chord and the 4 chord. Back to the whole step bend for the 1 chord. So here's the 1 chord, whole step bend. Here's the 4 chord, half step bend. Here's the whole step bend again on the 1 chord. Now if I go to the minor pentatonic, here's that 4 chord. I'm going to use that 1st finger at the 5th fret. And when I get to the 1 chord, I'll either bend up that half step to get that major 3rd or play it. Here's the 5 chord. Minor pentatonic works good. Here's the 4 chord. I want to use that flat 7 note at the 5th fret. And then again, a lot of times you want to use that 6th fret for the 1 chord. And here's just some playing. Sliding pentatonic is good. So I stated all the minor pentatonic there. Here's the major pentatonic. Whole step bend. Half step bend. Whole step. Minor pentatonic. Half step bend. Kind of tweak that minor 3rd into a major 3rd. Back to the minor the flatted 7th of the 4 chord. 3rd string, 5th fret. so hopefully that gives you some ideas of for what to use on the A laid back blues there. One other important lick I'll mention is the idea of well, if we played an A major chord at the 5th fret, like just based on the first position F chord, here's the F chord, A chord up here, 5th position, you get this. So the top 3 strings, we have the 6th fret, there's that major 3rd of the A, there's the 5th of the A chord on the 2nd string, 5th fret, and the root of the A chord on the 1st string. A few other notes you can add to that and get a very common little pattern here, a little pocket to be in, would be adding the 7th fret of the 1st string, which would be the 9th of the 1 chord, and the 6th of the chord would be on the 6th or 13th, you could call it, would be on the 7th fret of the 2nd string. So these 5 notes, 6th fret 3rd string, 5th fret 2nd string, 7th fret 2nd string, 1st fret 1st string, 7th fret 1st string. So we have the 3rd of the chord, and again this is related to the 1 chord. We have the 3rd of the chord, the 5th of the chord, the 6th of the chord, the root of the chord, and the 9th of the chord. A little pentagon shape there. Very common, cool little pocket to begin to play in. And you can actually follow that little shape up to the D chord for the 4 chord, and back to the 1 chord, and up to the 5 chord. In each case, if you want to, you can slide from the fret below the 3rd string note you're going to play, or hammer, and then the 4 chord, and then the 1 chord. So 1 chord's at the 5th position, 4 chord would be at the 10th position for the D chord, and the 5 chord would be at the 12th position for the E chord. So we could use those against the chords being used. I'm going to actually put on the jam track one more time here, and just do that one verse all the way through, just to show you can use those licks anytime you want to, when they work. Here's the 4 chord, 1 chord. You can chromatically connect the 2nd fret, the 2nd string, and the 1st string notes. 4 chord. 5 chord. Chromatic. Okay, one more verse, I'll kind of throw everything in. So hopefully that'll give you a few other ideas. And I'll wrap it up there and say have some fun with that.